It is so good to see one wearing purple, as are both of my guests. Stef Bos, you'd recognise him, I'm sure, wearing purple in honour of World Purple Day. And of course, Nick Turner is wearing purple underwear. He's not going to show you that, but he is, because it's all about epilepsy awareness that happens tomorrow. So, guys, thank you. Welcome to Expresso.
Hello.
Nick Turner, you know from Sons of Trout, from Mechanic. You're now involved with the Oesfees. Do you even speak Afrikaans, Nick?
I do. I've been learning. I've been learning since I've started the project.
Not important. Now, tell me a bit about Oesfees.
Oesfees is happening on Saturday at the Solms-Delta Wine Estate in Franschhoek. It's a big celebration of traditional South African or Cape rural music. You can hear the guma, the fastrap, and there's the rustic foods, the plaas food is there, and it's
Kops, of course, and alles.
It's
a celebration of the culture down there.
Yeah, and then you get a lot of complimentary tickets are sent out to around the valley to the neighbouring farms, to the residents.
Okay.
And they all come, and it's a big party. It's actually celebrating the end of harvest.
That's right.
For all the locals, and it's open to the public. There's wonderful, great bands. You just get it's a uniquely South African festival that celebrates the culture and the music of the area of the region.
Fantastic. We've got some great artists performing. I'm going to talk to you a bit about that a little later. Stef Bos, one of those artists. Stef, great to have you in Cape Town. I know you're now a resident, but you're always between Europe and Cape Town for many years, and you're now here since 2010. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Good to be back in Cape Town, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's the place where I live now. Like partly, I have to go now overseas for 2 months to tour, but this is where I'm going to spend my future.
The Edson Toekenning. I mean, that's a wonderful award to get. It's a long-standing award in Holland. Tell me a bit about getting it and the significance of getting it for an Afrikaans CD.
Yeah, that was for me wonderful, like last year, because I recorded a CD called Kloofstraat with all the songs I wrote like in the Cape or traveling through the country on places like, for example, Wuppertal in the Cederberg, where I talked to a beautiful old colored man that told me a story that I put into a song. And all these kind of like travel stories about South Africa are on the album. Then I released it in Holland, and I thought, well, because it's in my sort of Neder-Afrikaans, how I sing Afrikaans, combined with Dutch.
Neder-Afrikaans,
and I thought, well, they're not going to understand it, or they're not ready for it yet. And then suddenly that changed. And for me, it was wonderful because, like, in the post-apartheid era, the Dutch always struggled a bit, like, with the Afrikaans thing, because it's our inheritance. But for me, like, and that's incredible about the Oesfees, and I'm proud to be part of it, is like, for example, the Dutch don't know anything about the Cape Color community, which is part of our history. And the way, like, they talk Afrikaans, and that's why I also sing with them, is for me so close to Dutch. And like the Malayan culture that sings old Dutch songs, that I was proud that that CD got that important prize in Holland, that it's recognized as, not because of me, but because of the history
it's that celebration of culture, which is great. And Stef, we're going to talk a lot about that a bit later, which is great. But back to that Oesfees, quite significant, this festival, isn't it, Nick? I mean, give me some insights into the history behind the Oesfees.
Well, it started 4 years ago, and it was spearheaded by the Plaas boss, Professor Mark Solms, and his friend Richard Astor, who's a great music lover. And he arrived on the farm and saw this, the poverty and dependency, and wanted to break the cycle of that poverty and dependency amongst the farm workers. And he thought music would be a wonderful way of unifying the people. And so Alex van Heerden, great South African or Cape trumpeter and jazz musician, was approached by Mark, and they started the project, and it's called Music van de Kaap, which preserves the heritage of the music around the Cape, the Cape rural area. And it's and we've got a whole lot of through the project we have great farm bands that have started up, which are performing at the Oesfees. So you can get to see what's been happening and the progress that's been made through the Music van de Kaap project.
And they have incredible names, like Nick told me
just throw some bands out there quickly, because we're going to wrap this up. Who else is playing?
So we got Valiant Swats playing. The Radio Kalahari Orkest. Stef and the February Sisters are playing. Tribal Echoes performing. We also have the Real Dancing as well.
Everybody has to come.
So you want to be there. I mean, tickets all available. You can get onto our site, expressoshow.com. You can get all that information right there. As I said, Stef's going to be performing a little later right here. Many February Sisters, so you don't want to miss that, which is going to be brilliant. So stay with us on Express. We're going to traffic next. Thank you, Nick. Thanks, Stef.
Thanks, Michael.